You're watching TVC News Hour. Kenyans are still in shock after Tuesday's terror attack on the Nairobi hotel and business complex, which killed at least 21 persons. The world is already showing solidarity and condemning the attack, with Ethiopia, Somalia, China and Britain praising the immediate and coordinated response of security forces. The African Union Commission also says it stands with Kenya and supports the country's efforts in combating terror in the region. 9 persons were arrested on Thursday in connection with the attack.
Now, security expert, global affairs analyst Phatey joins us on the News Hour to discuss the security challenge in Kenya. Thank you so much for joining us. Yeah, what's your reading of all of these attacks that we are having in some parts of Africa, Kenya this time around, about some people who were killed in the hotel?
I think what I'm reading here is about that government and the politicization of terrorism, and start building robust security strategies in order to curb this issue. Because it seems like for many parts there have been intelligence failures. I mean, Kenyan authorities did receive some kind of intelligence that in December, for example, an attack was going to happen somewhere in Nairobi. Now, while in December no attack happened, it does not mean that they had to let their guard down. It means that they were supposed to continuously monitor and try to make sure that attacks didn't happen. In fact, they would have observed a trend that has been happening throughout Africa, and specifically in Burkina Faso, in Mali, over the past few months, which is that terrorist groups have not been necessarily attacking military bases. They have been targeting high-end hotels. We have seen that in Tunisia as well, in Ivory Coast, in Mali, and in Burkina Faso. And there were attempts in several other countries that have failed where hotels have been the targets. So, and these have been normally around the capitals. So I think they need to up their intelligence strategies and their counterterrorism strategies right now.
Now, it is said that among other things, the intention of the insurgents, Al-Shabaab now in this case, is to cause fear, is to cause panic, and of course get media attention. It has succeeded in doing all of that, especially around the world. How can Kenya break away from this vicious cycle?
Well, you know, I know the Kenyan authorities have different plans. Some of these plans I don't think are going to work. For example, they want to build a 700-kilometer wall. That doesn't really, that would not really end what is happening. Now, Nairobi, for example, like you said, with the media strategy and everything, Nairobi has some of the wall, host the head offices of very big media companies like BBC and CGTN and others, and they will get the kind of attention that they want to if they attack Nairobi. However, the only way that Kenyan authorities can really continue to curb this is that they need to collaborate with their foreign intelligence partners, especially the United States should help them. And I believe so would China, and so should the United Nations. I think other countries should just stop at, should not just condemn what is happening and call it horrible and say we support you in what you are doing. Those words of support are good, but they are not as great as providing them with the kind of training and materials that they need in order to carry out operations. When it comes to terrorism, it's not just about when an attack happens and you become responsive. In counterterrorism, you have to become proactive, which means that you are going to put cues and clues together and try to estimate what is happening and try to curb it and stop it. For example, you know, the past 3 Januaries, there have been continuous attacks in Kenya. In January 2016, a military base in El Abe, and it's right on the anniversary of that particular attack. When El Abe military base was attacked, 179 soldiers died. Exactly a year after that, a military base that was manned by Kenyan troops inside Somalia was attacked. And this time, while it was not a military base, it was a day after some of the Westgate perpetrators were put on trial. And it was a day after the El Abe military base attack anniversary happened, when they attacked this particular hotel. The trend is there. So I don't know who dropped the bomb, but they have to observe who dropped the bomb. And I can clearly say this with confidence, that I have seen a trend looking at the entire Kenyan situation, which means that when an attack happened, they have not been debriefing. It's very important for them to debrief. Debriefing allows you to learn what have happened, what mistakes we are taking, what could have done better. But it seems like there have been no debriefing with these attacks. An attack happens, they react to it, and some insurgents run away and then they move on. They need to debrief.
All right, Phatey, talking about being proactive, there are reports that these guys, these attackers, were there before for reconnaissance. The guard said he recognized them when they came at that time when he watched the CCTV camera. But how can we be proactive in this sense so as to ensure that they don't have to come back again to perform their sinister motive?
Now, the borders, most of these attackers cross the border into Kenya. In fact, you know, if Kenyan authorities will be very open here about some of the details, some of the people that carry out attacks in Kenya are actually Kenyans. For example, the Garissa attack, the man that coordinated this attack is Kenyan. I mean, there have been a lot of radical Islamic preachers inside Kenya. And of course, Kenya is a democratic country. And they will say that, well, they have preached in support of Al-Shabaab. We know they are recruiting, but we don't have enough evidence to prosecute them. I mean, some of these people end up being assassinated, apparently. However, the best way that they can do this, when you recognize somebody, especially in times of terrorism, they need to amend some of their terrorism and counterterrorism laws. They should be able to arrest these people and have them interrogated, because you just leave them out there after suspecting them of trying to carry out an attack. One of the essence of arrest, even in a democracy, is suspicion. So when you have the suspicion, you don't just leave them out there. They recognize them. They knew they were in the hotel several times because they were surveilling the hotel. Okay, so not arresting them and seeing people acting suspiciously in your hotel or in a particular crowded area all the time, it's an intelligence failure. It's a failure on the part of the security forces. As a matter of fact, you happened.
Many thanks, Phatey, for your contribution to this conversation, especially about the most recent attack on a hotel in Kenya.
My pleasure.